Hello, welcome to Wrestle MSX. I'm Michael.
I'm Sally.
Rey Fenix beat Nathan Frazer.
LA Knight beat Tama Tonga.
Motor City Machine Guns beat DIY.
Naomi beat B-Fab.
And Jacob Fatu beat Braun Strowman. Now, if you want to know what actually happened, we finally find out what Punk's favour is.
Kevin Owens is out indefinitely, maybe for good.
And Stratton cuts close to the bone. After recapping last Friday's WrestleMania contract signing, Chicago's favourite son opened the show.
Walt Disney.
No, he's dead.
Harrison Ford.
No.
I've got it.
Oh, go on. Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
CM Punk.
Bill Murray.
No, I've just said CM Punk.
Dark Knight director Christopher Nolan.
No, I've just told you it's CM Punk.
I've got a million more of these, you know.
I can imagine.
Hugh Hefner.
No, he's also dead. Anyway, he said the hard work now begins, saying he earned his shot as a WrestleMania main eventer. He thanked his wife, his dog, and the fans before vowing to beat Rollins and Reigns at WrestleMania. Paul Heyman then came striding out. Heyman thanked Punk for stepping up at Survivor Series and saving the family, before saying he had one more favour to ask of Punk. Punk asked what he could do for Paul. Heyman replied and told him he wants to know what the favour is. Punk isn't spilling the beans yet, telling him he wants Heyman and Reigns together before the big reveal. Punk then exits the ring. Now, if you enjoyed that, just like it, you don't need to subscribe, but if you do, we would appreciate it. You don't get that anywhere else.
We get another Rey Fenix vignette and then find out he'll be up next. His opponent, Nathan Frazer, one half of the NXT champions.
So, we're back to using NXT wrestlers as jobbers, which I have said before. Bring back the jobber, I say. Where's Heath Slater when you need him? Probably feeding his kids.
After tumbling around the ring, bouncing off the ropes and faux pins, we end up outside the ring with Frazer barely diving through the ropes as his feet catch them. We hit a break soon after, come back and we're in the ring and on the top rope watching a superplex. A final cut net breaker and cover by Frazer, only for Fenix to kick out on 2. We then see a goodbye amigo kick, with Fenix running along the top rope before delivering a kick to his opponent, and then a follow-up fire driver and cover. Frazer kicks out on 2. Fenix ends the match with an MMB Mexican Muscle Buster and covers Frazer for the victory. After the match, Byron Saxton asks Fenix how it feels to make his debut in the WWE ring. To cut a long story short, he's happy and he's been waiting a long time to say, I am WWE. This was quick, with both men showing out. The fire driver looked more of a finisher than the MMB, but all in all, good debut.
I mean, I've not seen much of Rey Fenix. I know he's in AEW. We don't watch that. We're not interested. Like, we don't watch NXT. We're not interested. Like, you can watch football, but you might not watch all of the football.
Yeah.
You don't watch all of the leagues. You might not watch the lower leagues. You just might watch the Premier League. And we're the same with wrestling. We don't watch AEW. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in NXT. I just like Raw and SmackDown, each to their own.
Yeah.
But what I've seen of Fenix, very athletic. I like that run along the rope. I've not seen that before. He's not holding anybody's hand to get balance. He's just straight along the rope. Love it. Anyway, enough about that. We cut to backstage to see Santos Escobar telling Angel and Humberto that's the kind of performance he expects of them after watching Fenix. Berto says he's just a flash in the pan and that he's better than him. Santos likes his fire and says he'll go talk to Nick Aldis about a match for him. So that'll be on next week's SmackDown.
We see Pirate McIntyre next, accusing Priest of hiding in the shadows and not facing him man to man.
Friend of Shinsuke.
Drew adds that he needs to pray and that when he prays, bad things happen.
Don't cross McIntyre. Backstage, we see Saxton with Braun Strowman, with Strowman saying he's had enough of Jacob Fatu and he's going to show him why they all call him the Monster, adding he's going to WrestleMania. We then hear laughing in the background and discover it's Solo Sikoa. Solo says he's finished, with Strowman then stepping up to Solo and Tama. LA Knight then appears from nowhere to calm things down, with Knight and Tonga then having a match next.
So, Tama Tonga versus LA Knight, Solo Sikoa accompanying Tonga. Knight makes sure work of Tama, dropping him with a back elbow and suplex, with us then ending up outside the ring with Knight bouncing Tama's head off the announcer's desk before throwing Tama back in. As Knight gets on the apron, Solo distracts him with Tama taking advantage and knocking him to the floor. We come back from a break and we're in the ring with Knight running amok. This is until he's downed with a clothesline by Tama. Tonga goes to the middle rope, mocks Knight by pointing at the crowd, LA Knight, and then misses an elbow. Knight then does the business. Neckbreaker, power slam, elbow drop, BFT, cover, win. Just before this BFT though, Tonga pushed Knight away and towards the ropes, with Solo getting on the apron and attacking LA. Knight fought him off though and got Tama with the second attempt of blunt force trauma. Solo rushed the ring after the match, but Knight got away.
Backstage we see Paul Heyman still awaiting the arrival of Roman Reigns when Byron Saxton approaches. Byron asks what the favour is. Heyman says he's no idea, then looks directly at the camera, like I am, and tells us no matter what the favour is, my answer is yes. We can see a car behind Heyman getting closer as he continues to speak to the camera, then reiterates, the answer is yes. Any favour you want, the answer is yes. Heyman then turns around to the car behind him, exclaiming his tribal chief has arrived in Chicago, when out steps Seth Rollins. He tells Heyman he looks awful, and then says that he's got himself in a hole with the CM Punk favour. Seth tells Heyman to let him know when Roman gets here because he wants to hear what the favour is too.
We get another vignette of a smoky number 4 before we have Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton in the ring.
This was brutal.
Having a verbal off. Moderated by Wade Barrett. Wade asks Flair why she chose Stratton. Flair responds by saying to show that she is no comparison. Stratton then pipes up, saying she'll always come second to her daddy, Ric Flair, and will at WrestleMania 2. Flair tries to speak, but gets booed by the crowd. This is then followed by chants of Tiffy time, with Stratton playing it up and Flair just smiling on. Flair relents, telling Stratton that she can have the last word. Stratton obliges, asking Flair what she was doing at 25, with Stratton answering for her. Flair was trying to be a volleyball player and drinking in her dad's basement. Who knew?
Who knew indeed?
Whereas Stratton is walking into WrestleMania as the women's WWE champion. And to be fair, she's got her there.
She has. Yeah, you can't beat that.
Stratton then said Flair may be the queen inside the ring, but outside she ain't the queen of shit. Flair mocked Stratton's voice, no need.
Yeah, there's no need for that.
With Stratton then saying, when it's all said and done, Flair's going to be just like she is on the outside of the ring. Alone, and what's that record? 3-0. Referencing her marriage count.
Ooh.
As Stratton said this, she dropped the mic and scarpered out the ring, giving me the impression she felt she'd gone too far. Flair fired back that Kaiser was in her DMs.
No, he isn't. Backstage, we find Nick Aldis, and he tells us that next week there's going to be a women's tag team gauntlet match featuring teams from Raw and SmackDown. The winners will face Liv and Raquel at WrestleMania.
Out next, the Motor City Machine Guns against DIY, with the Street Profits at ringside. After all four had a dance in the ring, Shelley sent Ciampa out the ring and gave chase. Ciampa ran around the ring, dived back in, tagged Gargano, with Gargano then slingshot spearing Shelley, and then we hit a break. And come back to see Shelley fighting off Gargano and tagging in Sabin, who enters by crossbodying both DIY members and them taking them both out again, with a kick, a DDT, and dive to the outside through the ropes. Shelley comes back in and covers Ciampa for 2. Motor looking for skull and bones, but Gargano pushes Sabin from the top rope. As he falls, he pulls the padding off the turnbuckle, exposing it. Ciampa grabs it, hides it from the ref, and seemingly tries to hit Sabin with it, with the ref then throwing it out the ring. Why are you trying to hit your opponent with a cushion?
Oh, no, yeah. Anyway, Project Ciampa gets a 2 count cover with Gargano coming back in after a tag. We nearly get meat in the middle as Sabin ducks it, with the Gunners then taking advantage as we see their double team efforts end up with another attempt at skull and bones. Gargano again upsets things by pushing Shelley from the rope, with Ciampa, the legal man, rolling up Sabin and going for the pin. The ref gets to 2 and then stops as he notices Ciampa is using the ropes for leverage. Ciampa argues with the ref, then charges at Sabin. Sabin moves, with Ciampa going headfirst into the exposed turnbuckle. Sabin rolls Tommaso up and gets the 1-2-3, with the Motor City Machine Guns becoming the new number 1 contenders.
Backstage, we see The Miz speaking with Carmelo Hayes. When they come across, pretty deadly. Miz says they're pretty useless, with PD saying they also have jokes. The Marine 4, the Marine 5. Miz asks how their musical's coming along, with the boys saying they've just finished writing a song and it's about a character who hasn't been awesome for about 10 years, calling it The Miz.
Ah, nice.
Miz says he's been a 9-time tag team champion, with Prince saying he's also had so many partners, and now here he is with a younger, hotter model, saying he's basically the Leonardo DiCaprio of tag team wrestling. Wilson can't understand why Melo is so happy relegated to The Miz, adding that they're not a real tag team. Miz says that Melo don't Miz and awes him, so expect a tag team match between these two soon.
B-Fab versus Naomi next, and as Naomi's heading out, she's attacked from behind by Jade Cargill, with backstagers coming out for the save, but not before Cargill gets a few licks in. Naomi makes it to the ring and the match begins, with Fab taking advantage and going for an early pinfall, but only for 2. Naomi though turns it around after B-Fab missed a kick in the corner and got herself stuck on the rope. The Glow Star is able to take advantage, kicking Fab into the ring post and then hitting a modified lung blower. Naomi covered and got the win. After the match, Naomi grabbed a mic and told Cargill she was still standing, only for Cargill to appear from nowhere and down her with a big boot. As Jade set up Jaded, security intervened, stopping it, with Jade taking them out. This brought Nick Aldis out, who decided to make a match between the two at WrestleMania. Filling that card out.
Next, a vignette from Damian Priest. He says that Drew McIntyre screwed himself and that he is a junkie. He gets high, telling stupid jokes and plays the victim every week. Priest says Drew doesn't have to paint him as his villain anymore. He is his villain. He tells Drew he doesn't need to look in the shadows anymore, as he'll be in the middle of the ring next week. He wants Drew to stop playing the victim and become his victim at WrestleMania.
If Drew looked in the shadows, he might find Shinsuke.
Yeah.
But anyway, another WrestleMania match. It's a good job it's 2 nights, isn't it? It's going to be 3 soon. We join Nick Aldis in the ring next, and he brings out Kevin Owens. Owens says that over the last 4 months he's been dealing with a neck injury and they didn't know what it was, but thankfully this week it's been figured out and he has to go for neck surgery. Owens says he's disappointed at not being in the ring with Orton at Mania, before thanking WWE for allowing him to come out and tell us. He thanks the fans, then heads out the ring, but as he does, Orton's music plays out. The 2 wrestlers exchange looks on the apron before Owens heads up the rampway and Orton gets in the ring. Aldis then tells Orton he no longer has a match at WrestleMania. Orton responds the only way Orton can, with an RKO to the SmackDown General Manager. Now, obviously this is, well, it's bad news for Owens, obviously. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't know when he'll return. He doesn't even know if he will return. So it's sad news for him. But the question is, if they knew Owens was carrying this injury, why let him continue? Especially up to the point of making a match at WrestleMania for him against Orton.
Yeah.
Surely they must have had an inkling that he might not make Mania. I mean, what's Orton going to do now? I mean, they can't really shoehorn him into another match.
No.
Because it's too close now. I mean, they could if they wanted to. Of course they could. But there's no story. I mean, that had a story, Owens and Orton. That's been going on for months and beforehand. But how can you now drive a narrative and wedge Orton into another match? There's nothing... I don't think nothing comes to mind. Oh yeah, you could just put him in there.
No.
He had Christmas off. He came back.
That's it.
He came back about 3 days ago, and obviously he didn't. And now he's just. I mean, he might be there. I mean, he'll probably turn up.
He'll probably be there. Yeah, obviously.
Go after Rhodes. I think that's where his story's going anyway.
Eventually,
for the belt. Yeah. So he might. Cena wins, beats Cody. Spoiler. And then Orton goes after Cena, which I think is where the story's going anyway.
Fair. Last match of the night, Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman in a last man standing match. The winner going to face LA Knight at WrestleMania for the United States Championship.
Another WrestleMania match. What's going on?
All introduced by a new ring announcer, Mark Nash. Jacob leaves the ring as Strowman makes his way down to the ring. I can't see this one returning to the ring, with the two brawling around the outside. It does though, with Jacob hitting his spinning back elbow and then landing 2 moonsaults, with Strowman taking a 7 count before rolling out the ring and landing on his feet. Back from the break, and we're back in the ring with Strowman hitting a huge spine buster on the Samoan before bringing a table in. It's set up in the corner with the 2 monsters then taking the fight to the outside. Strowman smashes a chair on Fatu's head and then goes through the timekeeper's barrier via the Strowman Express. The ref counts, but both get up on 9. We come back from a break to find both men on ring equipment and watch as Strowman suplexes Fatu through a table, with the ref again getting to a 9 on her count. They then make their way back to the ring with Fatu hip attacking Strowman through the previously set up table, wiping out both competitors. The ref once again starts her count, but this time reaches 10. Fatu beats the count and is now heading to WrestleMania to fight LA Knight for his US title.
So not a fatal 4-way, like I suggested
Unfortunately
in
not.
the Musings video. Check it out. We get a recap of Cena and Rhodes' verbal off from Monday before we see Heyman, who's still keeping a lookout for Roman Reigns. We hit a break, come back and see a car pull up. This time it is Reigns, who gets out and marches straight to the ring. After asking for acknowledgement, he asks Heyman if he's here. Heyman says yes. Reigns shares a secret, saying that if it wasn't for him, CM Punk wouldn't be here. After rambling on, he calls out Punk. Instead, we get Seth Rollins. Seth tells Reigns that he underestimates Punk and could have stopped it at War Games, but didn't. At the Garden, in the cage, but he didn't. And now we're here waiting for the favour. So are we. Reigns says Seth's not trustworthy when finally CM Punk appears. After telling us a story about being on a bus, he said that Heyman said to him, force them to deal with us, as in Punk and Paul. Punk said, well, they aren't here anymore, so I'm going to force you, my tribal chief, out of your comfort zone and force you to deal with us. Because in my corner at WrestleMania, your wise man, my best friend, Paul Heyman. Reigns laughs. That's the favour. He loves me. He needs me. I saved him. Even if I let him, he wouldn't. Reigns then calls upon Heyman to let Punk down easy. Heyman, for once, stays silent. Reigns asks Heyman if he's crying, then tells him to tell Punk no. Still nothing comes from Heyman's lips. Roman then tells Heyman he's going to give him one more opportunity to tell him, with Heyman replying, no, my tribal chief, I can't do that. Seth laughs, while Punk hits Reigns with a GTS and stares off against Seth. Seth then leaves the ring with Punk motioning GTS as SmackDown goes off the air. I mean, it's a bit of a poor favour.
I did kind of mention that.
Did you? She mentioned it.
I can't remember what.
Nobody else did. Yeah, so one of our just watch all of them.
Just watch them all, yeah.
And then let us know.
But I did mention about kind of, it was more Heyman turning on Reigns. So he's
not
turning on him,
but he's asking him.
But he's going to be on Punk's side.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what I did notice in the whole of this episode was that the wrestlers, they were having fun with one another. And I've not noticed that for a long time. Like, Charlotte and Tiffany were having a little bit of fun. Flair was having a bit of fun with the crowd, but then it got a little bit serious towards the end when Stratton was like, oh, you've been married 3 times, how's that working out for you? And then shot out the ring. Reigns was having fun with Heyman, he was poking him, and then when Heyman and Reigns were in the ring, when those two had the segment at the end, every time Reigns said something, Heyman would say, yes, my tribal chief. But he would say it in a way that would try and make Reigns laugh.
Yeah,
so they were having fun with it, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that kind of thing, and that's what you want to see. But all in all, pretty decent SmackDown, in my opinion.
Right, anyway, I've got to go to work, so.
Oh, you see, if you subscribe, she won't have to go. Anyway, any thoughts or views you'd like to share, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Don't forget to check out our Musings video with thoughts and opinions on the last week of WWE, and a new one drops every Wednesday. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you Tuesday for Raw.